Can you really cure lazy eye in kids? That's the first question every parent asks when their child eyes gets diagnosed. And if you search online, you'll find answers all over the place. Some say it's completely fixable. Others say once the window closes, there's nothing you can do. So which is it? Well, the answer is more nuanced than either of those extremes, and it depends on a few critical factors that most parents don't know about. So I'm going to explain exactly what lazy eye actually is. Then I'll walk you through the treatment options, and I'll be honest with you about what kind of results you can realistically expect based on your child's age and situation. Let's start with what's happening in your child's eye. The term lazy eye gets used a lot, but it actually refers to two different conditions, and understanding which one your child has makes a big difference in how we treat it. The first type is what most people picture when they hear lazy eye. It's when one eye visibly turns inwards, outwards, upwards, or downwards. The eyes aren't aligned. We call this strabismus. When you look at the child with strabismus, you can often see that something's off. One eye is looking straight ahead while the other drifts in a different direction. This is usually what concerns parents most because it affects how their child looks. The second type is less obvious. It's called amblyopia. This is when one eye has reduced vision even with glasses, even though the eye itself looks completely normal. With amblyopia, both eyes might appear perfectly aligned, but when you test the vision, one eye usually doesn't see as clearly as the other. The brain has essentially started favoring the stronger eye and isn't developing the connection with the weaker one properly. Sometimes a child has both. They have a misaligned eye, and because of that misalignment, the brain has started ignoring the input from that eye, leading to reduced vision. The key thing to understand is that lazy eye isn't really about the eye itself being lazy. It's about the connection between the eye and the brain. When children are young, that connection is still being built. If one eye isn't sending clear image, or if the eye aren't working together, the brain starts to rely on just one eye. And the longer that goes on, the harder it becomes to reverse. That's why early treatment matters so much. The visual system develops rapidly in the first years of life and continues developing until around age 7 or 8. During this time, the brain is incredibly adaptable. It's still learning how to process visual information from both eyes. This is our window. If we can identify lazy eye during this period and start treatment, we have the best chance of improving vision significantly. The brain is still plastic enough to strengthen the weaker connection. The most common age range I see for treatment is between 4 and 7 years old. That's often when parents notice something's not right or when a school screening picks it up. But here's what I want you to know if your child is older. Treatment can still work beyond age 7. I've seen improvements in children up to 10 or 12 years old. The results might not be as dramatic and it might take longer, but it's not a lost cause. What becomes much harder is treating lazy eye in teenagers and adults. By then, the visual system is largely set. We have fewer options and the improvements are typically more limited. If you're watching this and your child is young, that's actually good news. We have time and we have options. So let me walk you through how we typically approach treatment. Think of it as a ladder. We start with the simplest intervention and move up if necessary. Step 1 is glasses. Before we do anything else, we need to make sure your child's prescription is correct. Sometimes what looks like lazy eye is actually just an uncorrected vision problem. If one eye has a much stronger prescription than the other, or if there's significant astigmatism, the brain might be favoring the eye that sees more clearly. Getting the right glasses can sometimes improve things on its own, and if it doesn't fully fix the problem, it gives us a clear baseline to work from. Step 2 is patching. This is the most well-known treatment for amblyopia, and there's a reason for that. It works. The idea is simple. We cover the stronger eye with a patch, which forces the brain to use the weaker eye. Over time, this strengthens the connection between the eye and the brain. Now, I know what you're thinking. How am I going to get my child to wear a patch? It's a fair concern, but here's some good news. Research from the PEDIC studies, which are some of the largest studies ever done on childhood amblyopia, shows that just 2 hours of patching per day is effective for most children. You don't need to patch all day. 2 hours is enough. And there are ways to make it easier. There's actually an Australian company called Hide and See that makes patches designed for kids with fun designs that makes children more willing to wear them. You can find them at Chemist Warehouse or online. The key is consistency. 2 hours every day, ideally during an activity that requires visual attention like reading, drawing, or playing a game. This makes the weaker eye work harder. Step 3 is atropine drops. Some children absolutely refuse to wear a patch. They pull it off, they have meltdowns, it becomes a daily battle. If that's your situation, we have another option. Atropine drops works by temporarily blurring the vision in the stronger eye. We put 1 drop in each morning and it relaxes the focusing muscles, making that eye slightly blurry for the day. This has the same effect as patching. It forces the brain to rely on the weaker eye. The drops are generally well tolerated. Some children might experience a bit of light sensitivity, so sunglasses can help when they're outside. But for families where patching just isn't working, this can be a great alternative. Step 4 is vision therapy. This is more relevant for children who have eye teaming issues where the eyes aren't working together properly. It's also sometimes used alongside patching for amblyopia. Vision therapy involves exercises that train the eyes to coordinate. These days, some clinics use VR headsets that present slightly different images to each eye, forcing them to work together to see a single picture. The sessions are usually done in the clinic because they require specialized equipment and supervision. They typically cost around $150 per session, and you'll usually go regularly over several months. For some families, this is a great option. For others, the cost and time commitment is a barrier. It really depends on your situation and what your child needs. Step 5 is surgery. If your child has significant strabismus where the eye is noticeably misaligned, surgery might be recommended. This is usually performed by a pediatric ophthalmologist. This surgery adjusts the muscles around the eye to bring it back to alignment. It sounds scary, but it's actually quite common and is done when the child is asleep under general anesthesia. Surgery doesn't always fix the vision on its own. If there's amblyopia as well, your child might still need patching or other treatment afterwards. But it addresses the alignment, which is often the primary concern of most parents. So let's talk about realistic expectations because I want to be honest with you. Can lazy eye be cured? Sometimes yes, especially if we catch it early and the child responds well to treatment. I've seen children go from significantly reduced vision in one eye to nearly equal vision in both eyes. But not every case reaches that outcome. Some children improve substantially but don't get to perfect vision. Others improve enough that it no longer affects their daily life, even if the numbers on the charts aren't identical between the two eyes. In terms of timeline, most treatment plans involve reviews every 3 to 6 months. We're looking for gradual improvement. Patching isn't a quick fix. It takes time for the brain to strengthen that connection, but with consistency, most families do see progress. The most important thing is to start. Even if your child is on the older end, even if you're worried you've missed the window, come in for an assessment. Let's see where they're at and what options make sense. I also want to address something I see a lot in the clinic because it might resonate with you. When a child has strabismus, where the eye is visibly misaligned, parents are usually very motivated to treat it. They want their child's eye to look straight. They don't want their child to feel different or be teased. But when a child has amblyopia, without any visible misalignment, parents are sometimes less concerned. They think, well, their eye looks fine and they can still see with the other eye, so maybe it's not a big deal. I understand that reaction, but here's what I encourage you to consider. Your child's vision affects how they learn, how they play sports, and how they navigate the world. Even if one eye is compensating, having two eyes work together provides depth perception and a wider field of view. It matters. And the window to treat it doesn't stay open forever. If your child has been diagnosed with lazy eye, or if you're noticing signs that something might be off with their vision, the best next step is a comprehensive assessment. If you're in Perth, you can book a consultation at the Myopia Care Clinic. We'll check your child's vision, determine exactly what's going on, and put together a treatment plan tailored to their needs. The link to book is in the description. And if you want to connect with other parents navigating their child's eye health, I've created a free community called Healthy Kids on School. It's a space to ask questions, share experiences, and get support from other families going through the same thing. That link is in the description as well. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.